and find out a little bit more about what's going on with this blacklisting thing. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Hey there. How are you?
I'm good. So what is this about now? I'm 1 million people. If I'm on that list, can I ever get off that list? Who's on that list?
Well, right now we've heard all about the terror watch list. The FBI and other intelligence agencies maintain this list of folks who could be suspected terrorists, or could live next door to a suspected terrorist, or could be friends of a friend of a friend of a suspected terrorist. And they could all be on this watch list. Now, what is the GAO recently, on Monday, issued a report saying that there should be new laws that would prevent and bar anyone on the terror watch list to be barred from buying and purchasing handguns or any kind of gun. Now, while the National Rifle Association, of course, is 100% against terrorists, in fact, we don't even think they should be in this country. So if they are, then there should be, things done to remove terrorists from our society. However, the integrity of the terror watch list is slim at best. No one knows how one gets on the secret list, and no one knows how to get off of this secret list. And that means that there are tons of law-abiding people who are on this list. And even a study that came out recently from the Department of Justice Inspector General said that while the FBI and other intelligence agencies, after they interview people on the list, after they talk to whoever it is that they want to talk to about suspected terrorism, once those folks are cleared, they are still not being removed from this list, and in fact, that would mean that they would no longer have their Second Amendment freedoms. They've done nothing wrong. They're not criminals. They're definitely not terrorists, but they're on this list because maybe they live in the same neighborhood, or they have a friend who is a college roommate with someone who is a suspected terrorist, things like that. So again, there's no way to know. For example, Ted Kennedy was on this list and was barred from flying. When you have, leadership, famous leaders, famous political figures in America being barred from getting on a plane because they're on a list that no one knows how it is maintained, this is a problem.
Right. Now, with all this secrecy, Rachel, are we able to see the list?
No.
Okay. So we don't know how we got on it. We don't know who's on it. We can't see it, and if we find out we may be on it, we may not be able to get off it.
Right.
Okay, so what do you call this?
Well, this is something that we have been, and it comes up every few years, and this is something that we've been fighting against. Now, again, we are absolutely 100% against terrorists and terrorism in this country.
Yeah, sure.
However, we do not want to see law-abiding people who have committed no crime being barred from exercising their Second Amendment freedoms.
Right.
But let me point out something. Even the FBI has said that they don't want even those who are suspected terrorists to be barred from purchasing guns should they go in, because they don't want them to be tipped off that they're on the list. In addition to that, when someone goes in to purchase a firearm and they go through a background check, when they are on the terror watch list, they may not receive their firearm immediately. It actually has to be approved by the actual agent who put that person on the list in order for them to receive a firearm. So if it's someone who's been cleared, or someone who is not a suspected terrorist but maybe is on there because it's just someone the FBI wants to talk to, they would then be allowed to purchase firearms. And that's what we want to keep going on, and that's the current law now. Again, we want the FBI to have jurisdiction on this, or other intelligence agencies, and not just make a blanket law that would prevent anyone on this arbitrary list from exercising their Second Amendment freedoms.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, everything's so secretive. I have a hard time with all those secrets. And if we know, and if you happen to be on it, or I happen to be on it, would we know that, Rachel? Would someone tell us?
Know.
Okay. Would I be interviewed? I mean, would I have some way of knowing?
That you could be interviewed if the FBI or other CIA or whoever, other intelligence agencies want to talk to you because maybe, third removed you're friends with someone that is questionable. You would be on the list. Now, would you know that? No. And you probably wouldn't ever know until you went to purchase a firearm and you were prevented from doing that.
Okay, let's talk about that for just a minute. All right, let's assume. No, let's not assume. Let's let's just say that I'm on that list. I go down, and if it happens to be California, then certainly, then I'm going to go down and fill out some paperwork and try to purchase a weapon. Okay, now what is that gun store going to say to me?
The only thing that the gun shop would know if you were red flagged was that you were red flagged and they could not sell you that firearm.
That's all they can tell me.
That's all they can tell you.
All right, now tell me.
So you would have to do your own digging if you were barred. If you know you're not a felon, you know you've committed no crime, you know that there's no reason why you should be on this list, then you could, do some digging and find out why. Now, we've seen stories all the time where mistaken identities, where someone with a common name is on the list, so anyone else with that name has had trouble purchasing firearms before. But again, I don't want to alarm people, but what I do want to make certain is that folks know that this is a secret list. The integrity is questionable of how you get on and get off this list. And we've heard from folks that it started out a few years ago with 200 to 300,000 people on it, and it's skyrocketed to about 1 million people on this list now. That's something to be concerned about. We want folks to be aware, but also we want people to, if any legislation comes up that would have folks on this list be completely barred from, and a restricted party from purchasing a firearm. We do not want this kind of legislation.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to find out, Rachel. Okay, I find out that I'm on it. Now, what's my next step? Am I going to go to an attorney? Is that the next step that I have to go to? I've been denied the purchase of a weapon. The gun store owner cannot tell me why, because he doesn't know, not privy to that information. So my next step is, I had no idea up until this point. Now, I may have bought one a year ago and had no problem. Now suddenly I can't. So my next step is I contact an attorney, and he's going to contact who?
The FBI. The FBI maintains the NICS system, and so they would be able to let you know why you were on the list.
And that's the question I'm going to ask you, Rachel. Will the FBI disclose that to an attorney and say, here's why you've been denied the gun?
Well, I don't know that, and that would obviously be a question for someone in the FBI, because I don't know what their protocol is on this. Again, this is a very secretive list, and the way you get on and off is unknown.
Okay. Now, with the NRA, have you had calls or contacts with people who are maybe on this list, and they're saying to you, "What do I do?"
Well, right now, as current law stands, anyone who is on this list can still purchase a firearm after they've been approved. It just goes through a little bit more of a waiting period.
Okay, so there's still a possibility. And at that point, you may well be cleared of whatever it is that, there's a way out of this, right?
Yes. Right now, that is how it works. And we've had, Frank Lautenberg has come out wanting legislation that would ban anyone who is on this list from owning firearms. So we are fighting against legislation such as that.
Right. Okay.
But right now, the way it works currently, you go into a gun shop and maybe you just get a yellow light. So there are just some more checks that need to go through. And that happens often. There are times when that happens just because you have a common name and they just want to check you out a little bit more. And it's not instant. And that's how it would work. And that's how it currently works now.
If I never went down to the gun shop, I'd never know. Right?
That's right. That, from what I understand, that is correct. Now, again, even folks, and this came from and I just want to make sure that I get all this right, the DOJ Inspector General released a study back up maybe in March, I think, saying that after someone is checked out, agencies are often amiss getting them taken off the list.
Well,